Minutes past the hour now, a Supreme Court decision on health care could come at any moment, literally. But the nation's largest insurer is not waiting for that call. United Healthcare announcing today it plans to keep parts of the law in place regardless of how the court rules. Wyoming Senator John Barrasso is chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee. Good morning to you. You are also a physician, which makes you uniquely qualified to talk about this. A number of topics to go over. I want to run through this quickly now. United Healthcare says it will keep parts of the law regardless of what the Supreme Court says, including if you're up to age 26, you can stay on your parents' plan. Is this a good idea?
Well, I think that's something that people on both sides of the aisle agreed on before this 2,700-page bill was signed into law. That you have kids that are in college and in graduate school, to let them stay on their parents' plan until they're kind of launched by 26. You'd expect them to be established. I agreed with this 2.5, 3 years ago, and this is why you should do step-by-step health care reform, making positive steps in the right direction that help patients get the care they need from the doctor that they choose at a lower cost. But the 2,700-page law, which today the Supreme Court may make the ruling, I think is unconstitutional. I don't think Washington ought to be able to come into your house and say you have to buy.
Let me get back to that point, but you're making the case that Democrats and Republicans have agreed on a number of initiatives over the years. Why not do those instead of a comprehensive health care law?
Yeah. You're not going to see coming out of Republicans, if this is repealed or if this is the Supreme Court throws it out, a 2,700-page substitute. Not going to happen.
Well, why is it a good idea if my son or daughter's on my health insurance until they're 26?
Well,
shouldn't they go off and get their own deal? I mean, eventually you got to cut the cord, right? Why is this a good idea? You're a doctor.
Well, to allow them to stay under your family plan, of course, there's a cost to that. And where the president and I disagree is he said they can stay on for free. They can't. If you have a number of children, that the family plan is going to cost different than if you don't have a full family plan. But to allow them to stay on that family plan, I think just helps the family until that person's out of school, established in life, and moving on.
Okay, all right. United Healthcare weighs in on that. Illinois, this is a Democratic state. Democratic legislature, Democratic governor, and they're having a hard time setting up these health exchanges that are ordered by this law. Now, why is that? What's the rub here?
Well, this is a very cumbersome law that the regulations come out, they contradict each other. You have over half of the states in the country aren't even wanting to pursue this until they see what the Supreme Court says, which is why I've introduced legislation called the State Health Care Choice Act, to give states flexibility in choice in whether they want to actually even follow the law.
We're talking about some perhaps messy reverberations, regardless of what the Supreme Court does. As we sit here today, what do you think they do?
Well, I think they're going to throw out part of it. I hope they throw out all of it. New York Times recent survey last week, 2/3 of Americans want all or part of the health care law to be found unconstitutional.
What would be the effect of that, though, if they took the whole law and chucked it? What happens?
Well, then I think that you work together in a step-by-step way to get something done, not this 2,700-page law that is, James Madison said you shouldn't pass laws so voluminous they cannot be read, so incoherent they cannot be understood. But that's what we have with this health care law. It tries to do too many things,
right. But if you
government making decisions.
If you get your wish, is that chaos or what is that?
No, I don't think it's chaos. First of all, it eliminates a number of the onerous taxes that are part of this health care law. I think this health care law is one that will bankrupt the country. It'll get rid of so many of the mandates. Right now you read that colleges that have provided insurance for their students are dropping it this fall. Why? Because what they've provided in the past was low-cost insurance that actually applied to college students that could get their insurance that way. And under the health care law, that doesn't meet the high bar that the government sets of government-approved insurance. And if you go to that higher level, remember all the unions that got waivers from that? These colleges said we'd have to quadruple what we're charging our students. Forget it. We're not going to offer insurance at all.
Senator, thank you. We're on standby. It could come today. It may come in 2 weeks. We'll find out together.
It'll be this month, though, Bill.
Yeah, for sure. John Barrasso, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Martha, what's next?